And the extent of that celebration has been unmatched in India. And for that we had visitors from Germany, visitors from all over the country, whoever had been engaged with Brecht, involved with Brecht. So we were all celebrating Brecht together. But the highlight of the Brecht 80 program in Calcutta was Jabbar Patel's production, a fabulous production of Brecht's three-penny opera, Teen Paise Che Tamasha, directed by Jabbar Patel. A fabulous production. The entire musical richness of Brecht's work, which had been conceived as a musical, but transplanted, transformed, rejuvenated, recreated so originally by Jabbar. Hearing a lot about his other production, Kashiram Kotwal, from Vijay Tendulkar's play, another musical, a masterly musical, which has gone on being performed for years, for how many years? 30 years, 40 years at a stretch?
Yeah, 72 productions.
72 productions.
Sure. Mike.
So, we asked the Maxwell Bhavan to invite Dhashiram also because primarily to the same group, the same company, the same huge body of actors and actresses. So we had this great experience, and that was our first exposure to Jabbar's work, and the beginning of my conversation with Jabbar Patel. But there was another development. After the performances of Kashiram and Teen Paise Che, the entire group, the Theatre Academy from Pune, that was Jabbar's group, they were staying at the Maharashtra Nivas in South Calcutta, and the Maharashtra Nivas people had suggested that they should do a play for the Marathi population of Calcutta. So, for the last evening of their stay in Kolkata, they performed our friend Satish Adikar's Maneva. And for that show, since Jabbar was not involved in it, it was being directed by Satish Adikar. Satish was performing in it. So Jabbar sat with me and interpreted, translated the play for me. So that was the first long conversation, and that is where this evening's conversation began. And history happened that night. I don't know if anybody present here would remember. I see too many young faces, younger faces, much younger, maybe not even born then. But that night, we went on chatting, standing before the Maharashtra Nivas. It had started drizzling. So Jabbar suggested, come along, Samik. Let's go to the place where we are all staying, camping, and let's continue the conversation. We went on into the conversation, carried on, till around 2 o'clock in the night, we realized that Calcutta was flooded. That was not a drizzle, it was a deluge. So they were stranded. They could leave Calcutta, I think, about 3 or 4 days later. And the conversation continues. Now, over the years, Jabbar has been a major director both in theatre and in cinema. Masterpieces like Umbartha, Samna, Jaitre Jayat, and then almost a whole lifetime of masterly documentaries. Documentaries on the great musician Kumar Gandharva, a long documentary, the only one of its kind, on Indian theatre, the entire range of Indian theatre, and lots of others. So, a very rich, colourful career. Maybe the first question that I'd shoot at my friend Jabbar is, what I find fascinating is the link, the connection that runs continuously from your theatre into your cinema has been music. So, would you agree that that has been a bond, a link that has been with you all the time?
Thank you, Shamil. Thank you, Gautam. The wonderful audience here. I think the first time I'm talking to audience from this side, and most of my films till Ambedkar, I think, have been shown in Calcutta. The incidents which he narrated, the floods.
68 September, I
68
remember.
September.
Yeah. Two things I remember connected to cinema. One was, of course, talking to Shamik, and kind of response from Calcutta. We arrived, the whole team of 50 people of Gashiram and Tripeni. We were surprised to know that all the 3-night shows are houseful. I said, how Calcutta people come to know and they make it houseful, Gashiram, Kotwal, and Tripeni I knew because he had Ajit Babu's production here. 3 Paise Pala, okay? But the kind of response I had, and I was very lucky, I was talking to Shamikda and Gautam, that I had invited Manikda. And Manikda straightaway refused. He said, don't want to see you Gashiram, I want to see Tripeni opera. Next day it is. So I said, Manikda, please come. He had some own reasons not to see Gashiram. And then he came. And Gautam, I remember you were there, and I was lucky to see Manikda, Utpolda, Fani Mujumdar, Tapan Babu, Tarun Mujumdar, Tapan Babu, and Munanse. All the people, the first show of Gashiram Kotwal. I don't think that anybody can be so fortunate to all the people coming to see this show. And after that, this whole happened about floods and all that. Yeah, it just cut to the last scene when we were all flooded. And how we come back from the station back to Maharashtra Southern, a truck came. Raining. You don't believe. Who was leading? Mudalda. Completely drenched. Hey boys, come on, you be in the truck from the station. We're taking you back to Maharashtra Southern because the trains won't work. It was Mudalda. And so this is kind of a film connection vis-a-vis the theatre. And I remember one seminar where Brex, 80, I don't know, we were there for that discussion on my production. And NSD people were there, so furious to see a kind of what they call a band. They called it band. They said, what is that drum? And then piano, accordion, and guitar, because they have seen Ajit Babu's Ravindra Sangeet in Tripeni of, I think, Paise Pala. And I remember my friend Kirti was furious. And all the Calcutta people who had seen Ajit Babu's production, they said, no, this was more of a westernized thing, and what he did, though it was in Marathi, but the surprise came next day after the performance. I was calling Manikda, how did you find the Gashiram Kotwal? First thing he told me, Jabbar, have you seen the newspaper? The newspaper was Dharni Ghosh, right? Statesman. He said, have you seen Statesman today? Manikda. I said, Manikda, no, you have a breakfast later. First read that. Do you know that Dharni has been a very difficult critic? And he has given 3 passages of your production, which is amazing. And I don't have time to see it. Dhoni goes paid. And the last line was, it was a 3.5 hour long production by Jabbar Patel. I didn't know Marathi at all. But it was so entertaining for 3.5 hours. That was the last line of Dhoni Ghosh. I didn't know about Dhoni Ghosh. Then Manika told me it is very difficult. Man, he's there?
He's there.
Oh, he's no more. Okay. So that was the main thing. And in that conversation, I still remember another film connection, that the local people and Delhi NSD people were very angry on that. And suddenly a voice came from behind, can I speak something? And who was he? Mrunal Das. He said, sorry, I am a very unexpected guest in your theatre crowd. But can I share something with you? And he came, Gautam, and he said, why you unnecessarily compare some other productions with his? Brecht has all the freedom. Brecht has all the freedom how you present his alienation theory. And he has used all the mics and the actors, they speak their prose dialogues and just come and pick up a mic and start singing. And Murla said, that's alienation for me. The theatre is running in reality and suddenly, shall I say something? And the character goes and picks up the mic and starts singing. And there, Maki is into jazz, but in Marathi. While Jenny is actually into ghazal singing, like Meham Akhtar, and the Pisham, the father is been into traditional Natya Sangeet, where Indian classical based. So combination of all this, and on the stage, sitar, sarod, piano, accordion, drums, and everything is there. But the play was there. The Brecht play, Munalda said, what's wrong? If somebody is transcreating the whole thing, he's got that freedom, and that's how I remember the connection with this thing. Now coming to your point of thinking cinema, I never thought of coming to films. I was very busy in theatre, but you remember I am from Pune. I'm lucky because all the FTI faculties, Satish Bahadur and Mr. Nair, they were absolutely coming to theatre. I had done Panchi Aise Aate Hain, Tendulkar's, very popular play, and then Gashiram. I remember Satish Bahadur came at least 20 times. He would sit and make notes on that. They said later, and suddenly he said, do you know Bergman is a theatre man? And 1 year is a theatre, and the next year he does a film. I said, it's a very odd combination. The first time I came to know, I was not reading film theories and all that. I said, do you know Jabbar? You see a production of Gashiram. It has all the flow, breaking into scenes, and musically, there is a rhythm to it, and a cadence, everything theatrical at the same time with the music. I said, sir, I don't know Bergman. I said, you don't know Bergman? But I was the second year of my medical college, the third year of medical college. I said, do one thing. Come next day. So he gave me a pass. He said, it's free. At 6 o'clock, there are shows in the Film Institute. Come and attend that. That is how I came to Kurosawa. And my whole idea of Hindi cinema and all gone. I was plunged into the whole thing and talking to her. The next man who really inspired me, Shamikda, was Mani Kaur. Mani Kaur was a great friend. And people mistook sometimes that Mani knows only all different kind of things. Bresson and scalar theories, all that. Kumar Shani and... But I tell you, I have spent time with Mani Kaur. I have not seen such a kind of man analyzing the film medium. A beautiful way of man who understands music, the man who understands theatre and cinema or Ritik Ghatak. He used to tell me, and I still remember, Shamikda, they were really surprised. Once, at least for 2 hours, Mani Kaul compared Pakiza with Mughal-e-Azam. And production-wise, he gave all the details of Mughal-e-Azam and also Pakiza, and he took up Pakiza above Mughal-e-Azam. He said, aesthetically, how is that? So much so he was in love with three-penny opera. You laugh at it now, Gautam. Once we were traveling to Mumbai, and he said, "Hey, Jabbar, I have some idea." I said, "Look, I loved your production. Why not you make a film?" I said, "Film? Yeah. I'd like to handle the camera." I said, "Mani, yeah, you do the film. I like to do camera, but I have something. It should be black and white, cinemascope film." Very fancy. That is how, this kind of all get together, meeting with people, Hariharan, and Shravan Nakhate, who is also Celebrity Committee man at Pune International Film Festival. My first film, Samna, I didn't know about lenses. I knew only how it looked, a camera. I called him and he explained to me for 10 days. So, how you want to shoot? I said, "I want to do this. He said, "Okay, take trolley and see yourself." In 10 days, I picked up what he's trying to say. But he said, "You want to say the same thing. But use these devices are there." There was a crane, there was a trolley, and then the old camera, not airy yet. That is how I started my journey from theatre to cinema. So my first film, Samna, people still call in Marathi that it is not a film, it's a theatre. It's a Tendulkar's play, Tendulkar's film. Today they say it's one of the best films made, but they all call it theatre. The two major actors, Neeru Phule and Dr. Shriram Lagu, were there. So this all. And from that transition, I think I learned. The new Aeriflex had come, the stereo had come, and slowly I picked up from outside. But I think I'm a byproduct of Film Institute. Because with Mani, I have seen all the masterpieces with analysis. So why this film is important? Why Bicycle Thief is important? And of course there was a big tussle in Film Institute, that I'm speaking in Calcutta, but the new batch, when Ritikda was there, all the new batch, they took Ritikda above Manikda. And can you believe that? They will take all the students of Manikal and Kumar Shahani, were saying, "Arey, okay." So what? I was so much mesmerized. And they would say, "No, see Ritikda's film." And then I started understanding the importance of music. And then comparing Manikda and Ritikda. All his films, more of a classical raga based on all that, but Manikda, the creative music. I don't believe anybody have thought of in Charulata, there is a song and the playback has to be done. Do you know, it's a Ramesh Sangeet, but Manikda thought of Kishore Kumar. A big surprise. In Bombay industry, they said, "What? Kishore Kumar?" Mind you, this is Manikda who introduced Kishore Kumar for Rabindra Sangeet. And after that, Kishore Da sang about 24 numbers of Rabindra Sangeet.
He published an album.
Yeah.
Published an album.
Yeah, it's album.
Later.
Yeah, it's album. And I went to Chopin Malik last time I came to SRFT. I said, "I want to buy good Rabindra Sangeet, whatever the old things." So they gave me 3-4 different versions. And he said, "But Jabbar, you must buy one." I said, "Which one?" "Kishore Kumar." I said, "Kishore Kumar? You want to buy Kishore Kumar, Rabindra Sangeet?" Yes, said, "Do you know one thing? Today it is voice. All the Bengalis, they know traditional Rabindra Sangeet, but they rate Kishore Kumar's up. So the person responsible for bringing Kishore Kumar to Rabindra Sangeet is Manikda. That is what the greatness of film music. So when Gautam asked me, "What do you want to talk to Kolkata people?" I said, I have something to say about the parallel cinema movement, and I was part of it. Anu, Sham is senior to me, Gautam. But very few people, I think, Shamikda, use music. They use sound, more of a sound for the background score. But most of them rejected the melody. Most of them, totally rejected the good lyrics, the literature which could convey the film's content. I never bothered with it because I'm brought up into Bombay film music and all the great creators, Sachin Burman, Sri Ramchandra, Roshan, to all. I think they and Lata Mangeshkar, Muhammad Rafi, Talat, Hemanda, they gave such a great thing. So, Gautam, I always said, I discussed with you that why the parallel cinema rejected. Because that was the device when a film, if had 4 numbers and they become popular. So from commercial point of view also, the film is taken up to the mainstream. The film has a very different theme, different construction, different thing to say technically. But I think music in that period of 70 to 85, 90, except Gautam, Manikda, Ritvika and Tapan Babu. Tapan Babu used in a very beautiful way the kind of music history. That was the main thing. That's why we said, okay, why not we talk about performing arts that Gautam suggested and cinema and the relation. That's why the whole talk is today about these different forms, how that can be held into cinema. Because in Western cinema, they have musicals. They're separate. I mean, you won't get... Like, for example, Shamikda, in Pune International Film Festival, whenever the jury came, first 5-6 years, I observed one thing, when they were in hotels, they would put up the television. And they will see some Hindi films they wanted to know. And suddenly, there is a dialogue, and a girl and boy, they're talking something, and they just break into a song. They go to a garden, or Himalaya, to Kashmir or somewhere, and come back. They say, Jabbar, what is this kind of a genre? We can't understand. Why they erupt in a song like that? I mean, songs are good. It's a, if you listen to song, I said, now see, look, you take martial art of Japanese films. Do you fight like this every day? We don't. The kind of martial art stunts into Japanese cinema. See, Korean cinema, full of violence. That has become a kind of a theme. They go through that kind of choreographed violence. That we say Korean films are great. But in America and Europe, they have all the time a genre as musical. You know the great musical, the Sound of Music to all that. They own, I mean, Hitchcock has used in North by Northwest a very famous song which become a kind of a theme. So I always said, why not this? So Gautam said, take the use of performing arts in cinema, which can be helpful to content. That's why we are here.
Well, you have given us a background of the way you look and the way you work in cinema, your approach, your attitude that has come through finely. But if I may ask you, why have you really given up making films? The kind of films, the trajectory that you had started with Samna, Umbarta, Jait Rajait, where you were tackling politics, tackling the times, the complexity and the richness of something like Umbarta.
Yeah. No. Point is, Gautam will understand. He's a little junior to me. The point of kind of challenges to the young filmmakers. They're all finance, the main thing. Gautam may be having, I'm sure, at least 10 themes in his mind. But today, in this kind of advent of this OTT, and kind of South cinema absolutely covering the whole Bombay film industry and the other local things. The whole thing is changing after digital technique came. Everything has changed. It's gone on a very, very high kind of expensive level. Our themes were more realistic. The treatment also was realistic. And that era was known for giving different something into reality. Not the fantasies.
And more than that, particularly in both in Umbata, even in Jaitrajay, there was a criticality. You're not just, I don't agree with you when you say that it was just realistic, but you were challenging the reality, you were questioning the reality, you were critiquing the reality and making your audience respond to the reality rather than just take the reality as it is and succumb to it. So there was a different kind of challenge there. So would you say that with the corporatization, with the industrialization of life as a totality, existence as a totality, the way capital takes over, the way the state takes over in conjunction, in consonance with capital, making critical films, films that make you think and challenge and react, that becomes difficult and virtually impossible.
What has happened, my main observation is the audience also has changed. At least you make a film and show it to the audience. See, we are talking about a period when Umbata, Sinhasan, Gautam's Antarjali Yatra, all these films, they were released into regular theatres.
Absolutely.
Into 3 shows. Today the whole thing has come to one show, that is also into PVR or some other multiplexes. Though we are also stereo sound with Atmos sound, everything. But today, as you said, the challenge to the audience was ready to see this kind of cinema. But now people come to the multiplex to see a very different kind of extravaganza. That means your storytelling also has to change. It's compulsory. And it must have been a transition every time. I normally remember even Dasar Phalke, for example. Think of that, the whole evolution. You know what happened when cinema started talking? Dasar Phalke had challenged all the silent cinema. I know his last 5 years of his life. It was a challenge that film is not talking and he's giving challenges to the screen that the people look, I'm telling you a story in a very silent way. Early Chaplin. And suddenly the sound came. Dada Saheb Phalke was shattered, I tell you. With all challenge had gone. This kind of a psyche of a filmmaker, I think people must understand. He could not make a film. He was confused. V. Shantaramji knew what is happening and he said, don't do anything. You have done enough. And he started giving pension to Dasa Phalke, who was in Nasik. Imagine the black and white photography of Bimalda, Manikda, some of your early films you did in black and white.
My first film.
Yeah, and the challenge came when the color cinema came. I mean, unless you are behind a camera, Samik, you won't understand. A man who's doing a black and white cinema to show there are colors into black and white. When Rajkapoor thought, Hawa mein udta jaye, mera lal dupatta malmal ka. And the girl is coming down. Hawa mein udta jaye. There's someone in that day. Mera lal dupatta malmal ka. Ji mera lal dupatta malmal ka. And the lal dupatta was there, but it was a black and white film. But Raj Kapoor's taking was so beautiful. He made you believe that the dupatta is coming down was lal dupatta. And suddenly, film became color. So, Hawa mein udta jaye, Raj Kapoor did this song. Hawa mein udta jaye, mera lal dupatta malmal. The whole emphasis was in black and white to show lal dupatta malmal. The lal doesn't become any significant. The challenge gone. Many of the, I don't know, he must be knowing the black and white masters of Bimalda and so many people. The challenge, they didn't know what to do with color. Fewer people survived. Mono sound had great things because it came into complete in one bunch all the great songs you hear today from Bengali cinema or the popular cinema, Manikda, they were all into mono. Suddenly it became challenged into stereo. Okay, I can understand the left and right and Saint Hooper. And then became the complete ambience in the whole thing. That is, the car is coming from that side. Oh, the car is coming, the character says. The car is coming, the audience knows it's coming from the right side of the whole thing. Though it's not in camera, it's a miracle. That means every time from a reality situation to the script, everything came in a graph. First, we were doing only the actors, the blocking, if river or whatever is background, or planning like that. But today, suddenly the sound became very important. And that became a challenge. And we overcome that also. My generation thought of all the changes. But suddenly, again, into going into the special effects. So expensive. I don't deny that. Now, today, you ask any young filmmaker, you start thinking of first all the effects and then go into the story. One fellow came to me and said, yeah, what is it? I normally don't hear anybody's screenplay because normally it's not good to interfere from whatever he wants to say or what she wants to say. Let him do whatever it is. He said, okay, what is it about? No, so it's very difficult, I don't know. The man is on Marine Drive, okay? And suddenly flies to Taj International. What? So his story starts with walking on the Marine Drive and suddenly takes off. And he says, I'm flying over to Taj. Today's screenplay is keeping in mind all the effects you can do, and they go on Google and they know that this effect can be done. I said, Arey, how is it possible you're making a small film? I said, it's possible, sir. These are the appliances, and these are devices, you can fly. I said, in your budget, you can fly? I said, yes, you can fly. Now, the whole thing has become into, in my time we called it fantasy, and that is to be part of the whole thing. A small part of fantasy. Like An American in Paris, it's a beautifully choreographed film, An American in Paris with Jane Kelly, and the last dream you see today even, is done in 35 minutes, with only trolley and crane. Do you just imagine Jane Kelly was there and you were doing the last American in Paris shot? I think you will do. I don't know what you imagine. They can do a lot. So today the whole thing has changed, and not only the storyteller is a challenge in this, but it's a challenge to the audience to accept. So they have decided, okay, it happens. But how? No, it happens. They fly. They fly with the swords. And they kill each other. And the masters are there, Tarantino. They do. It's a wonderful choreographed violence. So now we are in between. So the stories of reality and wonderful camera and wonderful content, wonderful music even. Today, Samik, it has become a challenge even to conceive things. Because ultimately, I remember Manikda's words, he came once to FTI for a convocation. First thing he said, Manikda, remember, boys, when you make a film, somebody is financing it. It's your duty to at least pay him back what he invented. Manikda. For the person telling Manikda that you spend 5 lakhs that time or maybe 40 lakhs, that money has to go back to the producer. I did ask this to Manikda, what do you mean by that? How can you, before conceiving the film, think that I am spending about 1 crore, I get back money? What are you talking? How it is possible? It depends on the distributor, depends on today's all the multiplex chains. What I mean in short, that when to even Gautam or today's filmmakers who are still doing wonderful, what the challenges are. When I saw yesterday his film, I think he knows that today is presenting the film in the fantasy world. But the idea he brought, the metaphor of a river, I think that allows the people to forget the fantasy and whatever effects you want to do. Because his camera says many things. The camera goes on the poor population of Madhya Pradesh and all the people around the river. What has happened? It's like, like vanishing a Sanskriti. Like parampara. It's gone. But his way of telling the story goes above fantasy. But rarely you get such kind of thing. But I totally agree with you. That still, it's a challenge, can be done. And the example is Calcutta Film Festival. If you see the films from Europe, France, Germany, Brazil, you must be having all these films. They don't have so many trick scenes and special effects. They still stick to the thing. First thing that we are missing the audience, which is committed. Committed to the culture. I really feel that Bengal still keeping that tradition and still they are into the inside of cinema because it's a country, land of Satyajit Ray, Munal Sen, Ritik Dosh, today's Gautam Ghosh. It's there. It is happening in everywhere else. Where there is no story content. People are into different political milieux. And they have dream to kill the people who rule. They can't. But they take metaphors and different kind of thing and go into fantasy. And the fantasy, once upon there was a time when Rishi Kapoor and her lover used to go to Kashmir. That was the dream of a common man. But today's common man who is unemployed, who has so many problems, they want to see how you get rid of these social problems. And so easy answers coming from South Indian films. But yes, they're giving. And they're very bold into political themes, which you can't in other countries. In another province, in Maharashtra or anywhere in India, I don't think, but they have this kind of life. And from Rajnikant into everywhere, they take all the freedom, political freedom. They talk about the women problem, they make fun of so many things. So this is a speciality of that place. And that's why they take what? They take a garb of fantasy. Well, audience will ask, it is possible to do this? Ultimately, Dr. Saab, it is a fantasy, na? Really में कोई होता है क्या? वो करते हैं हमारे लोग. They put for Rajnikant. But Malayalam cinema still sticking to good content, good values, simple filmmaking, and still making lot. But it's not lot as 100 crores. They're making a film about 40 crores, they earn 60 crores, 70 crores. But the kind of things in social media you hear is not less than 1,000 crores. So young filmmakers, I don't know what to think about it. Are they dreaming? I want to revolt. I want to tell the agonies of the common man. All that. So these are different challenges. One. For a man like me, I'm thinking of so many themes, but I feel it's going to be expensive. I recover that. The producer will ask, but who is acting in it? It's the most sellable thing. Who is acting in it? In my time, it was a wonderful bunch of people, were known to people, but they were good actors. Not stars, good actors. It's a challenge today to find those things. I was telling you in the morning that sometimes it's very difficult. Gautam may not know that in Umbertha, when I chose Smita Patil, I had a problem with Tendulkar. I wrote the script very seriously and I'm taking a girl who reads news on television. How she can be... And it was a bilingual thing. I was totally against the whole thing. I said, man, let Tendulkar is challenging how I do it now. But I showed the raw things to him. the Rush Prince. It was about 8 reels. And he said, Jabbar, you proved me wrong. I said, what? She's doing wonderful. I still remember Smita was in the audience when she came to, she was not the choice of the writer. And that like Tendulkar. She said, Jabbar is a big child. I said, too well. There was a time when I could take challenge like this. That a newsreader can be a wonderful actor. Which even the scriptwriter doesn't agree. Is today possible? Today if you go to any corporate production house, you know what is the system? Gautam is above that because he's talking to Italy and other things. But if you go to any corporate, you don't see the man who is the creative man behind the whole thing. Many newcomers must have felt. First they say, okay, we have a storyboard. And storyboard will listen to you. And there are young boys and girls sitting there. And they, yes sir. Mr. Jabbar, you made Singhasan. Okay. You made Umar. Okay. How was your experience? Okay, good. Now sir, what do you want to say now is the new film? What is the genre? What is the whole thing? I said, you are from? Sir, I am in the production house and then we want to know what is the story you want to tell. How it fits. Content. Content is a much bigger word, Gautam Da. You want to say how it can fit into some big hit. What it is. So what is that? Then I, very curiously, before telling my content to somebody, why should I? So copyright is with me and I'm telling not only story content, I'm talking about the genre. How the way I take, because suppose I say, this opener, okay, but how can do it? That means I will tell him the kind of style I want to adopt. So in that copywriting, I am selling my style, I am selling my all things, whatever possible, intellectual property with the young boys and girls. I ask them, you are from where? Where did you learn the script writing? You are judging me. Oh no, I was there in UCLA for 1 year and I did a course, master course into script writing. So he is in UCLA, Los Angeles, doing 1 year course and joined here as a consultant. And I am talking about Par story. Imagine. Par, the two protagonists are taking animals across the river is the story. What? What animals? I said, okay. But how can you take that? It's possible. When they enter the water, there's some special effects what to do, take the animals, making some dummies and then take the whole thing. And you know that Nasiruddin Shah and Shabana Azmi can handle all this. Just imagine you've seen Par and imagine today's time, Par Gautam is doing now. So that's the point. So that was the time, you can call it romantic. I don't mind. Was it romantic?
Yes.
It was romantic. And Gautam was so mad of his idea. I don't know, who is your cast, Gautam? I went at his style. Oh, I'm thinking of Nasir and Shabana. I said, Gautam, you're taking these two actors in the water across the river. Nasir and Shabana, both are Muslims. And what kind of animals are these? Do you know what's happened? So now you understand. There are so many kind of layers into the political structure. And to tell something, I say ki you wanted to tease the audience and take them. In Singhasan, for example. You know the Singhasan is shown in London. It's a subject, today you just imagine that. It's a story between the struggle between the chief minister, who is running today, and the man is a finance minister who is challenging his chair. And you don't say any group, but the beginning is sat in Vidhan Sabha. where 400 people are sitting in Vidhan Sabha. Can you imagine today for a small filmmakers to arrange 400 people? That was a very authentic Vidhan Sabha, which people have now seen in television and everywhere. And only a small note comes, be careful, you are going to be in problem with the Chief Minister. There is some rebel movement is going on. So Tendulkar keeps only one insertion of the film which run throughout the film that this film will have groups and they have to manage. The whole film is about this game. And Anna, Vishantaramji saw that in Jabbar, it's a wonderful thing. But that, even in that time, 1980, it was difficult to get theatre. Dada Kondke's film was running into 25 weeks in 3 theatres. 3 single theatres. And Anna suggested me there is a dilapidated theatre where my film Amar Bhupali ran for 50 weeks. I said, no, who will come to the theatre? No, but they go and see the owner. So I went to the owner, he said, are you sure you are releasing a new film in my theatre? Because second, third run films were running there. All Dharmendra and Amitabh Bachchan films. I said, yes. Believe in me. I went 5 days after that. He repainted the whole theatre that the new film is coming. He watched the screen. And Shantaram Babu, like his relationship with Tapan Babu, it's very interesting. He said, Jabbar, be sure this film will do well. Okay. And the fellow said, wonderful person, Sindhi fellow, good friend of mine. He said, okay, Baba, I take chance with you that your film do well. And 4 shows. Not a single show like multiplex. 4 shows in a day. Anna said, call me at 2 o'clock, my first show is over. First show was over. But I went there and I asked the manager, I don't see any people around the area. He said, what people? There are no people. I said, then how your film can run? No. Your 5 days advance booking is already done. I said, the film title Singhasan. And 5 days things are what? There is no Dada Kundke, there is no humor. There are no songs. What is it? I said, Bhalo, मेरे को नहीं मालूम होता है क्या है. वो your premier is in the is Sharad Pawar coming? He was the chief minister. He said, this is coming. Okay, ठीक है. कुछ होगा. Advertisement कुछ होगा. And believe in me, I called Anna that people are liking it. I said, I'm sure. Watch now. And I tell you one thing, what Anna said. The film Singhasan, no songs, all political people, 4 shows in a day, ran for 50 weeks in the theatre. That was the time people were eager to see what content Jabbar Patel is making. What content Gautam Ghosh is coming with. And they would say, Gautam Ghosh film, jao, dekho usko. Today, the challenge is, गौतम घोष का फिल्म है ना why OTT में I think it's the most horrible ever insult to a filmmaker and all middle class. I'm blaming middle class. All young college boys are eager to see what I want to say. The middle class, it's their children in America, Europe, they're happy. The film will come OTT, way to go, and it really happens. A film comes after 3 weeks into OTT because no other way. So it's become the OTT has become such a beautiful thing. It's easy way. So as you're talking about challenges, I have challenges in mind. And one day will come. I mean, look, all phase goes. And I said started with silent cinema. That gone. The color came. Cinema scope, then came Atmos, and the 380 and whatever it is. But I think still the content remains the hero of the film. Because I think Blade Runner, though with all the effects and all that, unless you have a very strong story, it was the whole thing. And even man like Noron and other people are also coming to the point of now the special effects should be minimized. You do it really. And the cameras, wonderful cameras have come. And you can have wonderful stories to say. So there is a challenge with the new things to storytellers. Young generation is getting whole thing, but to me, I'm coming to Calcutta Film Festival. I think like Pune Festival, it all depends on the young filmmakers to come and watch and see what the different countries are doing what. Unless they watch this whole thing, is not going to improve the whole thing. All the young filmmakers, they are from FTI, SRFTI, or from my school. I am running a film school in Pune, in Raj Kapoor's place. So, I asked them what film you saw. They're talking about Nolan's film. I said, but you know one thing, even if you say this kind of American market film, like Bill Waters' film, have you seen these films? No, sir. Have you seen anything like Bicycle Thief? Yes, sir, there's a classic one. I'll see sometimes. It's not a classic one. It's something else. Unless the schools, media schools, start hampering exactly what is exactly the film education in a correct way, so it to me, you will say that you're avoiding the responsibility, Jabbar. I think now today is a challenge, not only filmmakers, I think challenge to the film institutes, what they teach. I met most of the faculty, what did you teach? I just asked the chairman. Sir, we have shown Godfather's second part, and I think it's good for, because I'm teaching camera and the color changes. Oh. So, Godfather part 2, and I think the color changes. And what class is this? Sir, this is second semester. Second semester of undergraduation. And you're telling them Godfather. It means when you show Godfather, you will camera and the color changes. What is Brando or what is the other actors? What is contained? They don't know. What is the Italian connection? They don't know. What is? I said, how can you show only the camera of Godfather for the second semester? The new boy is 18-year-old. Unless they don't know what is black and white cinema, how to change into color one. So these evolutions and all that we incorporated into the syllabus of the media schools and everywhere. What happened today, short films have suddenly surged. Everybody with this good idea and can be made in about 2.5 and 3 lakhs. It's become a tool for young filmmakers. But where is the expose? Where you want to show the films? These are the challenges. And this West, one good subject into short film. I am not against short films. Even Martin Scorsese has made short films. Short films is a good, but their idea of short films is about 40 minutes to 50 minutes. Not 15 minutes. I don't say 5 minutes can give you beautiful film. It can be something. I remember, Gautam, in Tajikistan when Soviet Russia won, I met one boy who was 45. And his film was just opened after Gorbachev. There was a 4 minutes film, but it was banned. I said, 4 minutes film was banned? I said, yes. What is that? I said, I'm going to shoot a film. Gautam, the film was, the door opens and small bakri ka bachcha comes in. And somebody gives a biscuit. He looks up, take the biscuit, and they put one label on his neck. He goes, other goats are playing. He's also there. Second, again, door opens, and one more biscuit, and you see he's playing. So the camera goes to a glass. Beyond that, there is one restaurant. Music. We don't go close. People are enjoying. Third thing is, this goat is playing with another goat. Suddenly one chain comes. And that chain grabs his friend and taken forcibly to another door. The door opens and that goat goes up. Suddenly they take it on a level. It goes on a table and they make chop of that. Kill that. And suddenly the skin is losing. So brutally done. There is no time even to shout for that goat. And you see the pieces of it. And now this goat is confused. Where is my friend? He's looking for him. He's not there. And suddenly his legs are against it. And they take that goat there. And you see completely defleshed. And then the camera goes in the restaurant where people are enjoying mutton, chicken, everything, they're eating, dancing. That's the end of the film. This film was banned in Soviet Russia. Banned! This boy was 22 when he made the film, and he met me when he was 45, 50. The film was, after Gobon chose to think, film was sent to Cannes. In Cannes, in short film, got the first award. So much stamina. So much is there in the cup for a filmmaker. Don't you feel you are lucky in some way? A man has suffered 20 years. There is 4-minute film is not shown in the country. So, what I mean is I am not glorifying the failure or whatever it is. I am saying every time, every year, there are challenges to film people, challenge from media, technique, improvements. The showing places like multiplexes, OTT platforms, and also region-wise. Still in Bombay, the old people who are in 60s, 70s, they say love story from Bengal. They say, oh, love story from Bengal. It means they won't touch each other. It's still called, it's ridiculous, ये तो Bengali prem hai bhai. Yeah, unless you cling and kiss today. And not only once, you have to kiss at least many times. And there is a song, very exotic song. And that is also Sufi. No Madan Mohan, no S.D. Burman, no Hemant Kumar. It's Sufi. Why Sufi? Because you take very highs. You don't understand what is Sufi also. But you use. But there is no Muhammad Rafi or Kishore Kumar. They take somebody who can yell like that. Like that and then, oh, beautiful. In the concert, they say beautiful. And those things are going. So, Shamita, these are all challenges coming. I'm coming to Kolkata Film Festival because the kind of things selected here from different countries, when people watch, or even Pune Festival, it gives them. I don't know about Bengal, but something happening in Maharashtra. With this festival, my experience is now, as we do it in Pune, we also go to the extensions in Maharashtra. Out of 200 films, we take about 35, 40 films to Latur, a small place, Nagpur, Mumbai, then another short place called Chandrapur. And the result in last 6-7 years is that there are filmmakers from small, rural places. And with their camera, they are doing the film in about 60 lakhs, 50 lakhs, and they are sending us for the competition. And I tell you, our competition in Pune is Marathi competition, but the jury is not Marathi. Jury is a foreign jury. They watch with their angle this Marathi film, it stands outside in the world cinema, what happens? They look at it as a world cinema. And I'm telling you, last 5-6 years, the people who are getting the awards are all, most of the people are from rural classes. Not from the urban. This is what going to happen. That means they are exposed to one way with Nolan and one way to Gautam Ghosh, that they is telling the stories in a very different way. That can happen only into the festival. And they pick up things. For example, there was a film called Potra, which also went to other festivals. A girl, they keep the gods on the whole thing in a basket. Gods are there and they go for begging. Young girl of 15 coming to the age. And she has seen the male world when she was a kid. And now she is 15. Their physical changes have come in her and she looks at the male changing their vision to look at her. And she sees that. And ultimately, she understands there is a male community which is different for her as a woman. She's changing her age. There was a story. They got the first award. And the foreign jury asked, that girl is a trained girl? The director said, no, sir, she's not trained. She's from the same community. She begs. And she got the Best Actress Award.
Yeah.
This is what the changing cinema is. And this is coming slowly. Maybe coming through short films, but this is also coming, must be happening in Bengal also. Everywhere the role plays. These are the real filmmakers who try to understand through festivals. This is the changing scene of cinema.
That's a wonderful note to end
No,
on.
any question? Shabir?
No.
What's your reaction?
No, I'll also look forward to that. But that's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a
We're too
possibility.
depressed and looking for possibilities.
Yeah. So I think that's the evolution for me and Gautam, how we came up from beginning in my generation, how the generation are changing, and how they're combating
What we
with
look
the
forward to.
changes into the audience, and audience is accepting those films. That's the main thing. Anything? Is there a question? No.
No,
You have any?
from the audience, shall I?
You made Baba Saheb Ambedkar 2000. I have seen this film 3 or 4 times. So my question is
Ambedkar film.
Ambedkar.
Yeah.
My man. I have seen your Baba Saheb Ambedkar 3 times. 2000, 2001. And
Thank
it is
Thank you.
the Indian Panorama and this is film, and it has been released in London also. And that time I was in jury also, Indian Panorama. So nowadays, India has stuck up with the Dalit issues. It's a very, very sensitive and important issues now. I have not seen so much, so very good films on these issues. Nagraj Manjule, he is the very important filmmaker, and Foundry, it's a very good film. But apart from this, I don't know, it's my ignorance also, maybe. I just want to know about this issue, and because you were making at the time 2000 Baba Saheb Ambedkar. So what is in your mind? You are interested nowadays to make any film on this content and these problems, and what is the scenario in your Maharashtra? Just I am putting the example Nagraj Manjule.
I tell you, Nagraj, one film called Foundry.
Yeah,
I
I saw it.
One
There is
film.
only one film.
Otherwise, he's also going into, he's going to other field now. See, Ramdev Dhasal, a great poet, and the whole Dalit movement has been very close to me. I know them personally well. Ramdev Dhasal with Naipaul, to him, one of the, not one, the best poet into Indian literature. That when all the book fair happened in Germany, he was felicitated, Ramdev Dhasal. And he comes from this very strong phraseology and terminology of Dalit. The whole thing politicized now. Politicized. And when the issues are coming, the whole core issue has gone. And it has become a kind of political issue. So what happens, the party, Republican Party, is divided into so many groups that today, jointly talking about this becomes, so it can, like, you say something. Now, for example, I made one film called Mukta. It has a very different kind of thing. Mukta is a very different film. I was making Ambedkar, and I was going through the different areas where Ambedkar stayed in his university in America. I was going to it was Harlem. I said, Was he going to the same Harlem where all the blacks are there, starving, and then reached his hostel? Yes. So I said, how? There's only one mention that when he washed dishes for his survival, the guy who was next to him was a black guy. And he commented that you're lucky you're Indian, untouchable, but you're lucky to enter Colombia. I am not. The period 13 to 16, Ambedkar was in Colombia and the black guy was not allowed. Even the women were not allowed in America. In between 13 to 16, in Columbia University, women were not allowed. In such a situation, he goes there and from his teacher he learns no race is pure. John Tune, he says his teacher that no race is pure. And he understand that. But the point which was troubling me was, look, he was going through the black area and he must be remembering the Dalit world, 1913, what Ambedkar must have been around. So I thought of a story of joining together and made Mukta, where a American girl, Indian girl but American brought up, born and brought up, she comes to understand the social studies of the state plays. So she comes to India and she met, like Damdev Dasal, a Dalit poet. She's a Maratha girl, ruling of Maharashtra. But she in love with him. And being America, she doesn't know what is Maratha, what is Mahar, what is all that thing. She's in love with him because he's a poet. And her father is a poet. She understands. So she understands images more. And when she comes to the household, they say she's in love with him. And now they talk of what? Mahatma Phule, Ambedkar. There was Shahu Maharaj who fought for equality. And the girl is in love with a Dalit boy. So what happens? Then when Sunday news comes, her mother calls from America that your boyfriend Julian is coming with you, and when you come back with him. And the whole household is absolutely great. Oh wow, one American Julian is coming. So this untouchable fellow will be out of life. So including the grandfather, played by Dr. Lagu, they want to receive. That man has said, I won't come by plane, I come to bus what you regularly use. So there is social angle to it. So he comes and they all go and suddenly a guitar comes out first of the bus and then he jumps up, he's a black boy. Her friend is a black boy, Julian is a black boy. And they're all shattered. They wanted to remove one untouchable from their family and one black boy has come. And a wonderful, lovable person. Yeah. And that is how the family wants to combat whom to refer. The Dalit boy or the black boy. This today's stand. So the whole Dalit sensibility has changed, sir. And now the problem is how the untouchable boy takes the black boy. You know, in America, if you go there, it's a very different scene for the blacks. Even for the Indian tribe there. They will prefer white American than the black American. I want to show that. Look. And then Baba Sahib said, no race is pure. That is what happens. And that black boy, ultimately, I mean, sometimes the film will come here, you will see, I don't know whether the film has been shown, but sometimes this comes on television, it's called Mukta. The girl name is Mukta. And finally the whole thing exactly. But I wanted to say something about subcaste and caste. When they presented the script to NFDC, and we said, no, we can't do this. Why? We are mentioning Chamar with Chamar. We're talking Brahmin. I mean, that is not a colloquial language. Well, a Brahmin won't be called Brahmin, we call Baman. In Bengali also, we will be talking like this. Huh? I mean, these are colloquial things about untouchables and all that. They said, no. And they were all reformists on the script committee. They said, we won't allow you to do this. I said, what is that? That's India. What is that? If you put the language, because it's called in a very derogatory way. What's wrong? That's the reality. You're talking of reality, sir. NFDC will not allow me to do that. So I said, I go to censor board and talk to them. And one beautiful, intelligent person said, I mean, don't laugh, intelligent people from censor board. He laughed. Yeah, I agree with you. So then he said, do one thing. There should be a disclaimer. Put a disclaimer that's like a more of a study of India, of caste, and all that. Don't take any way the gullies and all that into derogatory. Try to understand. We speak like this. I did a film with a disclaimer and there was no censor cut of the film. So, this kind of other ways. But there, as you said, a different point of view looking at that. So it's all changing. Now you can't have a scene where something happens in the village and one untouchable girl is raped. This is a regular thing of television, or thing, if you want to show. And you film make like this, there are so many political layers to it, which may not be whole thing. And there are films coming. So people do that. So now the Dalit sensibility is no different. But the literature is becoming very much alive. The new Dalit novels are very strong, and especially the poetry. The poetry is absolutely, Dalit literature is very strong. And they are not into regular things, oh, so many things happen to us, for centuries you have atrocities. No. They talk of revolt. In a very subtle way. And they will target middle class, they will target even the untouchable world, and also talk about corporates. All that. So what I mean is, now Dalit connotation has changed. Completely changed. And now you have to go and make a film on Dalit. It's a bit different. Okay? Yes, please.
So my question is that among filmmakers there is a deep divide of taking sides nowadays. Like we miss, like Gautam Da make on Lalan Fakir, you made Ambedkar best film on national integration. So nowadays I feel and society feels that among filmmakers there is a deep divide for taking sides. The kind of movies which are becoming awarded for best film of national integration, Kashmir Files and all that, it pains the audience a lot.
Look, I'm against talking about any film or any criticism. You have to take it very heavily. It's your choice. You see the film or you don't see the film. So the point doesn't come into that. The point is you can't ban any film. It may be against the government or for the government. You see it all. If you feel it. I mean, there is no harm. We have in Marathi, the plays have come where Ghanshyam Kotwal is there. At the same time, the films have made into right-wing way also. But normally, there was some hallabulla in the beginning. It doesn't happen. In Jaitre Day, it was a different form altogether. It was in a music way. The Adivasis and music. That way it was. A very different genre. We're talking about that. And still people consider that is the best musical made, which is based on very Indian, very vernacular. It is not copying any Sound of Music or any kind of American musical. I think what I was coming to my point was, like music, Gautam uses in his film, because he knows music himself, or Manik Dutt did, or what is. I think this genre of using music, songs and lyrics is very, very important, and when there are so many folks here, and you will find absolutely, I mean, we are very strong in listening to music, wonderful music, but we are not making and taking this kind of base of making different things. I don't know why. I am really unhappy because people who know music, it can be like we are more into sound and the instruments as background score. I mean, I am not against it because you have to have. But something which has the music connected to us, to our soil, we are avoiding in our films unnecessarily. And I think our generation, most of the people say, oh music, oh no. Song, oh no. I don't know why. This all happened. And see, most of the parallel cinema which you have reviewed, without any sound. There is no reason. Gautam, you have any reason for that?
Whether you use music or not, it depends on the style and structure. Sometimes, it may happen that without using music, with other sound, you create a kind of symphony. Otherwise, you are right that in theatre tradition, our music was used more effectively than in cinema. Because our own music is used in theatre more effectively than cinema. That's why when I made Lalan Fakir, I made for another reason, because Lalan was a symbol of composite culture. And I used the songs of Lalan, and those songs became hit. As you said, you attract people, your audience, with some songs. One song, all the Baul singers, they started singing Jolly Rupur Pani, Na Pani Rupur Jol. So, it became really hit. And because, I wanted to tell something, some message through my film that about the composite culture of our soil. So, you have to attract your audience, and very subtly, you have to sort of send your message to their mind. I think
we are definitely not using some. For example, Badal Babu.
yes.
I tell you, Badal Babu's theatre, to me, is theatrical,
Yes.
but also very cinematic.
Very cinematic.
Very cinematic, if you see. I mean, using the physical part of the acting and bringing political themes in it could be something. Like, for example, in the same film, Mukta, a group of street play thing. I have used about 6 or 7 street plays. Street plays there, because and I purposely brought the girl who comes and visits this untouchable, not all untouchable, but the Namdev Zasar group. They are doing Pathanatya, that is street play. And as this film grows between this Dalit boy and that black boy, the kind of things they present into the street play. Because this girl comes from a ruling party family, though she is in America, her uncle is a minister, and he is shocked because he is going to accept a Dalit boy as a son-in-law. And that's why all these street plays are used. For example, I made another film called Ek Hota Vibhushan. This is all about tamasha. It's tamasha. But not the entertaining, glossy world of tamasha. That is there in the film. But I go beyond that and go to the lives of the women. When they put makeup and become exotic, and the wonderful movements, all the sexual gestures and all that, when they are without makeup, without gesture, when they are normal, when you look at the normal creatures, they don't use toothbrush, they use the Kala Manjan. And I showed that they use Kala Manjan. And when they put on the makeup, you see the most beautiful woman dancing, and she comes in a dream.
Transformation.
Transformation. And unless you understand that world, you come and see, Tamasha is the most entertaining world in Maharashtra today. And there are so many groups in rural Maharashtra. Still, women are used, exploited in those forms. But nobody has looked back what happens to them. So, I think it will happen. Now, when I in Jayatri, they wanted to say the dialogue. The dialogue is difficult, the language they talk about is difficult. So, I had to become above that and become like, you treat it as a fantasy in a lyrical form, assuming that the Adivasis are singing, and ultimately they express in the songs. And in the first, and there are 2 narrators who tell you, look what is happening. They look at the camera and tell you. In the beginning, first week, people said, those 2 Adivasis are looking and telling the story through camera to us. And there's all the love story between Moharabash and Smita Patel happening. But then they accepted. And today, you know how many songs in the film? Go to the 19 songs in the film. 19 songs. The film explains the whole thing into music 10 songs. Then those lyrics were written by a farmer poet called Maharaj, a great poet. And his images in the poetry is very strong. Totally related to the soil. All the images, love images, sex images, all come to that. And that becomes very important. And even today, I mean, I'm not boasting this is my film, but I'll tell you, when you have this competition called Sare Ga Da Da, all that, unless you at least have 2 songs from that film, there is no winner. The most difficult songs, and done by Rabindranath Mangeshkar. Today, I think it was done in 78. The film was in 78. But today, 1 out of 19, at least 9 to 10 songs are absolutely every household has. Remember again, sir, that song I remember. That was beautiful. Oh, I remember. See, look, sometimes you feel bad that you made Umberta, you made Ambedkar. And people refer, you made that film, the song was so beautiful, and then you said, okay, I made a film for that song. But I tell you, that music with songs has saved the film. It happened in Umberta. The whole Lata Mangeshkar numbers are there. So, coming to my point is that still filmmakers must think as a very strong device. Maybe instruments, but the music is our Shastra. Like Kurosawa films has all martial arts. You take 7 Samurai, I don't think every day you can see 7 samurais here or 8 deer here, but you take for granted. When they see, they come like this. Every time. And if you know they are going to fight, Tarantino, Kill Bill, and they say, take. But in all Tarantino films, the message of blacks and kind of selling them, all those things. Then most of the films behave like that. An American film talking like this. But he uses the violence. There is no harm. But not the violence the way we describe here. That somebody comes to the last row, flying and jumping on you here. There is no reason. You have to logically prove why he is jumping from there. I understand there is some hierarchy about last row, middle row, and so we are talking about society. Then there is lower row, middle class, and upper. Upper is seen in the front. So he doesn't want to touch middle class, he jumps over the first tier. Okay, that kind of a symbolic thing is there, I don't mind. But it doesn't happen like that. There is no time for this kind of logic. What I mean is that, So, we are not like genre based in Europe or America. We create our own genre. Nobody objected when Charlotta was there and song was there. Here, Namani didn't hesitate. He could keep the Charlotta and the brother-in-law are in the garden looking at each other, and the background song comes with Hemant Das song, Hemant Das voice. Same Ravindra Bose song could come as a background song by Hemant in Manik Das film Charlotta. Have you imagined this? He could do that? But no. He directly goes on a piano and he creates that. He doesn't hesitate. Or in children films of Manik, they use songs as folk songs. So this is what I feel. Anything?
In the present political scenario, do you think that a sequel of Singhasan is very, very much needed? Sequel of Singhasan.
I know.
I have a small question to add to it.
The same kind of a thing?
Yes.
Singhasan?
No,
No, just wait, then I have to answer that. No, look,
just
sequel is not my thing. I don't believe that. To one say story, unless there is a section to that, there may be another story, but you can't get sequel. It can be something different.
Not like, number 1, number 2.
Number 2, number 3. So now you have to make something number 2 of your film. Because your river is flowing, na?
Yeah.
So you can do Narmada and go to Ganga?
Yeah, why not?
It's a very hot topic today.
Yes.
So why don't you do it? Number 2?
River trilogy. I think we have to wind up.
Time is over, yeah. But something important, one line? Something one line. Yeah.
You made a political film like Simhasan. I saw it long back in Pune, I remember. And now there are too many political films coming in, like Kashmir Files, Kerala Story. What do you think this trend is?
Good. People talk about political themes. Good.
Yeah, but it's all one-sided. There's no it's
What harm is there?
It's political propaganda. Like,
Right now, I think our audience is enough intelligent to understand why the film is made for what. They understand. This film is for this, okay, I understand. They go out, they forget. And if they really feel this film was with good purpose, they remember. I don't think this will become. And I tell you, don't call it political cinema separate. Gautam's film, Narmada, his film, yesterday's film, is highly political. Don't you feel? It is political because you see, point is, political means you don't keep political characters. What his message is about the whole disaster happening, and the way he says to the boy is something. I mean, it's more engrossing in the world. I mean, you see, even a family film is a political film. See, kind of father-in-law behaves with daughter-in-law. Mother-in-law doodling with the looking, and the son is behaving with the father. It's all political. It's all political.
Thank you. Thank you, Jabbar.
It has been a wonderful evening, and the way Jabbar has spoken and spoken continuously, so the conversation will continue beyond this, but we've had a very, very rich conversational evening.
And we are,
Thank, I tell you, Samik,
expecting for another flood in Calcutta.
But can you believe that a drama group is going to be drowned into the historical Calcutta floods? A man called Mural Sen brings a truck, drenched completely, and he said, Mural, what are you doing? No, you must go to safe place. Chalo, all, come.
Okay.
I mean, this is what, to me, the Bengali culture.
Thank you.
And thank Shamik. I mean, if you see, look, you must have missed some questions from Shamik because we both know what they are. Thank you.